Famously, in 2020, Prince Harry and Princess Meghan would dip out of England in hopes of protecting their family's safety from real credible extremist threats. For years, they were silent, but the press wrote many insane narratives on their behalf that convinced millions that the Sussexes want to destroy the British monarchy at all cost. Cinematic Royalty presents A Royal Marriage, Harry and Meghan in the years after 2020. Remember, this is a multi-part series, so come back later for the rest of the parts. The Oprah interview. Okay, but before we start, many people deadass still say that Meghan and Harry are no longer royals since they quit the royal family. Respectfully, that's incorrect because the Sussex couple stepped back from their role as working members of the British royal family to become financially independent. They are still part of the family as Harry was born a prince and his father is the king. Meghan, like Kate, is still considered royalty by marriage, so since the Sussex aren't divorced, she is still royal. Afterwards, the couple bought their bougie Montecito home in 2021, and bitch, when I tell you it's a huge upgrade from their royal cottage, I ain't playing. They also began building new career professional identities that would be separate from royal duties. But first, they wanted to clear up years of rumors and allegations against them, which is why they agreed to an interview with Oprah Winfrey at their home. The couple discussed their decision to get the fuck out of the country, their struggles with the British royal system, and the intense media scrutiny they experienced during and even after their time as senior royals. The interview gave them the chance to finally share their perspectives, instead of the propaganda of royal rotas and palace sources. Harry was extremely concerned about the impact of royal life on their mental health and well-being, especially for Meghan, who was an outsider that was experiencing isolation and distress. His late mother, Princess Diana, had similar experiences like them dealing with the family of her in-laws and their beloved loyal press. The majority of people chose to easily believe the propaganda that portrays the royal family as the innocent victims, and anyone else who doesn't agree with them are the calculating villains. Our girl Meghan also spoke about feeling unsupported during moments of intense media pressure, while Harry reflected on his own childhood experiences within the institution. Meg shared that Harry privately told her that two members of the family have had multiple conversations about their worries and deep concerns of how dark Prince Archie's skin would be. That allegation sparked global debate and widespread media reaction, with royalists crying that it's all lies. The interview gained intense international attention, with some viewers expressing support for the couple's decision to speak out, but many others criticized their portrayal of the royal family, as many felt betrayed by the couple. If the royal family for decades have consistently gone to the press leaking things about other members and hope to rehabilitate their own image but hiding behind royal insiders, then Meghan and Harry have every right to respond. At least the Sussexes have the balls to confront the allegations using their name publicly, instead of hiding privately behind royal sources like William, Charles, Kate, Andrew, and Camilla normally do. I personally wished H&M spilled all the motherfucking tea of the royals, like William's years of cheating on Kate, how Camilla used her expired pussy to bed the press in her favor, or how his dad Charles set up a trust fund specifically for his stepkids, Tom and Laura, in hopes of financially protecting them even after his death. So I wanted them to spill even more tea, but many little bitches like Piers Morgan thought this interview went overboard. Like, Piers, you're giving unmasculine vanilla? By then, the Sussexes are financially independent and began to break into many media vultures, which the biggest was their partnership with Netflix. In the next part, we will discuss their projects with Archwell Productions. Netflix with the Sussexes. One of their biggest business ventures came through their 5-year deal partnership with Netflix. Yes, that Netflix and chill babes. The couple secured a multi-project deal that has created projects like their docuseries Harry and Meghan, which dived into their beginnings of their romantic relationship, them getting the fuck out of the royal institution, and their perspective on the challenges they faced within royal and modern media abuse. Their series drew global attention, which gave them a platform to share their personal experiences. It became one of the most widely discussed documentaries, despite many claims that it flopped. I really did like their documentary series, as it was entertaining to see how a self-made actress fell in love with the humble, caring prince in the modern age of social media. When Will and Kate got together in 2001, social media wasn't easily accessible and easy to use like today. When they married, and a decade later, 2011, social media was already a big part of everyday lives. So it was nice seeing a royal couple navigating through the digital age. By the time Meghan came in 2016, she had a huge following on Instagram, and baby girl was very much social media savvy, as she had her popular lifestyle blog The Teague, with a small but very loyal fan base. Netflix took notes on this, considering that they wanted to ensure their investment was safe. With their 5-year contract, they plan to produce feature films, docuseries, as well as film documentaries, children's programming, in addition to their company Archwell Productions. They went on to produce a documentary about the sport of polo. And y'all, I'm honest, I'm not into sports at all, so that wasn't for me, but I saw so many people who aren't usually interested in that subject until Meghan and Harry produced it, so it goes to show it's reaching far outside its intended audiences. By 2025, our certified baddie Meg would release her lifestyle show with Love Meghan, which showed an array of cooking homemade meals as well as dinner table assortments and gift wrapping. And many of y'all bitches acted like Meghan herself claimed she invented lifestyle shows. Like y'all were even crying that she will never be a Martha Stewart. Well, no shit, that's Martha, the convicted felon. How the fuck do you even compare the two? It's so easy to trigger the mayonnaise Chads and Karens, but it's insane how they live and breathe only for the woman they claim to despise. The same haters that bitch and moan about Meghan are the same ones who constantly replayed her show nonstop, micro-analyzing her every move, even crashing out using unqualified body language experts to push their narratives. And y'all, in many other instances, they even count her blinking, her motherfucking eyes blinking, yet they claim my girl Meg is irrelevant. Personally, I liked the show and its very comforting feel, but I'm not really a lifestyle fan, but it's my personal preference, nothing against my queen. My favorite parts were they cooked various recipes like the lemon raspberry cake, which I'm dying to try. I also enjoyed her making the creamy spaghetti pasta dish, but bitch, we can't forget about the cute motherfucking flour sprinkles, cause deadass love them. This was before she released her as Ever Flour Sprinkles, which are a bestseller today. Harry would make a small appearance, but the show mainly focuses on Meghan and her guests' point of view. In the next part, we will discuss their growing family with the introduction of Princess Lilibet. Prince Archie meets Princess Lilibet. In the summer of 2021, Prince Archie of Sussex became a big brother as he met his baby sister, Princess Lilibet Diana. Her birth marked a deeply emotional moment for their family. Harry and Meg had already experienced both immense joy and quiet heartbreak on their journey to expand their family. Archie, still very young at age 2, was introduced to Lilibet in a calm and loving environment, with his parents prioritizing warmth and connection. Before Lilibet's arrival, our darling Meghan publicly shared that she had suffered a miscarriage in 2020, a loss that deeply affected both her and Harry. That experience would shape how they approached the birth of their daughter, making the moment even more meaningful. When the cutie Lilibet was born, her arrival symbolized healing and hope after a period of grief. Archie's own birth had took place in the United Kingdom, during a very different chapter of the couple's lives as working members of the royal family. In comparison, Lilibet was born in California after Harry and Meghan had stepped back from royal duties. This gave them more rights to protect their little ones from an invasive press, considering California has one of the best laws and privacy for children of celebrities. And y'all people have spread crazy, unhinged conspiracy theories that claim Meghan can't biologically have kids, and she tricked the royal family with a fake baby bump, and that's why her kids came out extremely ginger. Anyone who can critically think can easily see how uneducated and ignorant those claims are. But critics of the couple will deny it's because of her race, yet they never accuse the other royal wives like Diana, Kate, Fergie, and Elizabeth or Margaret of not bearing their children. Mind y'all, this rumor exploded when Meg's older half-sibling Samantha said, "Those kids aren't hers." Her half-brother Thomas Jr. claimed that Meghan's first husband, Trevor Engelson, mentioned she had a hysterectomy. However, investigative reports and mainstream media outlets have labeled these claims as unsubstantiated fake nonsense. Samantha also added that Meg was mainly raised by her since her mother Doria was in and out of prison throughout her life. Mind you, Doria Ragland is not a criminal, nor the deadbeat mother Samantha claimed. And it's funny how many believe easily Samantha's words when fact is she had 3 biological kids who she abandoned them completely yet claims she raised Meghan. Samantha's claims added fuel to the dangerous rhetoric that has followed Meg, Archie, and Lilibet. The royalist fanatics truly believe Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet are fake royalty who will never biologically be part of the British royal family. Raised between 2 cultures and continents, the siblings represent a blend of their parents' past and present. For Harry and Meghan, watching their son meet his sister was a reminder of how far they had come from navigating public scrutiny and personal loss to building a quieter, more intentional family life centered on love and healing. In the next part, we will discuss Prince Harry's groundbreaking memoir, Spare. Prince Harry's memoir, Spare. For decades, many reporters and palace sources have written thousands of books about the life of Prince Harry, whether it's about his wild crash-outs, his drug abuse, the deep grief after his very affectionate mother was killed by the press, his father's coldness towards him after the death. Many of these royal reporters and palace sources work alongside the firm and want to be looked on favorably by the institutions, so they uphold their invisible contract to push narratives to better the image of the Queen, Charles, and Williams at all costs. Spare is a deeply personal account by Harry himself that traces his life from childhood through adulthood, shaped by grief, duty, and identity. He opens with the lasting impact of losing his mother Diana. He described how her death influenced his emotional development and relationship with the royal institution. The memoir explores his role as the spare to his older brother, Prince William, and the pressure that came with growing up in a rigid hierarchy where he often felt secondary. He makes a number of claims about tensions within the royal family, which includes physical and verbal confrontations with the angry Voldemort. Oh my bad, I meant William. With a huge lack of support from senior royals during difficult periods. It made him understand how his mum felt going against their wishes. Homeboy criticized the British press, arguing that invasive coverage and misinformation contributed significantly to his struggles with mental health and his decision to step back from royal duties. When they began treating his biracial wife much worse than a publicly funded pedophile, he knew shit is serious and bro has to get the fuck out of that institution. With the British press's clear abuse against his wife, it made the decision easier to leave the country. The memoir also covers his military service in Afghanistan, his battles with trauma, and his use of therapy to process long-standing pain. He recounts episodes of anger, grief, and confusion, offering a candid look at coping mechanisms and personal growth. He got to see life in a different point of view, not like a prince but like a soldier. The backlash to Spare was quick and intense. Deadass the critics who for decades made millions on speculative fiction accused Harry of oversharing private family matters and questioning the accuracy of certain recollections, framing the book as damaging to the monarchy. Media outlets' commentators dissected his claims, with some portraying him as unreliable or contradictory. At the same time, supporters argued that his perspective deserved to be heard, especially given the long-standing influence of royal press narratives that had previously gone largely unchallenged. Much of the beef around Spare has centered on media literacy and how personal testimony is interpreted in a highly polarized environment. While several of Harry's claims were corroborated or aligned with known patterns of press behavior and royal protocol, others remained disputed or unverifiable. Prince Harry's Spare Part 2. Mind you, they crucified Harry for supposedly betraying the royal family for a book when in fact his parents, Diana and Charles, had their own biographies of their personal life. Charles was born in an institution that will protect him at all cost. Bro used that to push harmful narratives against his popular wife in hopes of changing public perception more favorably to him. That's why Diana secretly gave tapes to journalist Andrew Morton for a book that would tell her side of the story. And those same royalist reporter would use the narrative that Diana imagined all that abuse, that she was the one who cheated first, she was the one who bullied her staff relentlessly. Diana is the one who emotionally unstable and supportive caring Charles has done so much to help her but she refuses. Y'all know cap, but that's why it's important to see the signs of an orchestrated smear campaign, considering the royals and their press constantly push that to anyone who isn't easily controlled by them. Harry exposed the royal family just like his mama did, and I love that for him. He truly is his mother's son, while William Parker Bowles is far from it. There's a lot to divulge and spare, so I'm going to make an entirely separate video about his book because, bitch, that tea is burning hot. There's lots of embarrassing things written as well, which I will cover like y'all. I'm a fan of Prince Harry, but that frostbite story traumatized me, but I understand, bro. Just wanted to tell his side regardless if it's humiliating or not. Spare went viral, becoming a cultural success upon its release, with Homeboy's Harry's fascinating storytelling that drove extraordinary global interest. The memoir quickly broke sales records, becoming one of the fastest-selling nonfiction books ever, with millions of copies sold within its first days. Its widespread reach was fueled by intense media coverage, high-profile interviews, and public curiosity about Harry's perspective on royal life. Beyond sales, Spare sparked ongoing conversations about the monarchy, mental health, and media accountability, cementing its impact as a publishing phenomenon. Babe's dead-ass Spare and his mom's biography, Diana, in her own words, beat out his raggedy-ass father's authorized biography despite Charles himself admitting in his book to being unfaithful to our Diana with Camilla, how the Queen and Philip were extremely cold parents bullying him, and even added how he was much more maternal towards his nannies than his own mother. But most of y'all bitches offended by Spare intentionally forget that since it doesn't align well with your own bias agenda, like Tampon Chuck, you may be relevant because yo mama was the motherfucking queen and you were the heir, but you ain't shit, bro. You're hella boring and people want the real deal, which Diana and Harry have portrayed throughout their lives. And that's it for today's episode of A Royal Marriage, Harry and Meghan. If you have any suggestions on other royal marriages, then comment below.